This is my coffee grinder. You can see there's some statically charged coffee on the spout. Now, this currently has the large deionizer module in, the black one. I have the potentiometer set somewhere in the middle, don't know where. So what I'm going to do is use this paintbrush to bridge the gap, just to show you if a spark occurs. So I'll turn the lights off to give you half a chance of seeing. So it seems like in this configuration, sometimes I get the spark, sometimes I don't. What that tells me is internally there's probably a capacitor charging up, and with the resistor it's just not enough to kind of keep that charge most of the time, and there are these big gaps in operation. So now it's all the way to the other end. Now you can see why I didn't want it like that. So I'm going to turn it back, but only a few times. So I turned the potentiometer all the way to the open end, so 0 ohms, and then I turned it, and it was a very loud crackle. And now I've turned it back a couple of times, so we're much more turned on, and let me show you the spark. So now the spark is probably bigger than what we really want, because if I touch this I'll get a shock. Ask me how I know. However, it is at least on constantly. So at some point I'm going to try this without the spray bottle, the so-called RTD method, and see how well it works. I've thoroughly cleaned it out. Now I haven't applied any water with the spray bottle, so these beans should be dry. This is a full dose, which is 1 AeroPress scoop. I think that's about 18 grams. And I've already had my coffee for this evening, so I'm going to grind this and leave it in for tomorrow, of course. Nothing's ever wasted. I have the grinder ring set to 50. And let's see how she goes. It's also sticking to the inside of this thing, and we have a bit of build-up on the spout, or chute I should say. And now I've made a sort of plume of coffee grounds and made a mess, so what was once clean is now dirty. This guy is a great coffee grinder. However, I'm still needing to use the RTD method. Since the original ionizer broke, I have just not been able to get this to replace it. I have tested this to prove that it is bipolar, not unipolar, but it just isn't working for these purposes. Let me get my testers to prove that to you now. Regular viewers of my channel will have seen my amazing polarity testing high voltage screwdrivers. Now what you do is take a regular voltage testing screwdriver with a neon, and you add a microwave oven diode, and I have one to test either polarity. The whole reason I made these was to test if these split ion generators, whatever they are actually bipolar, because a lot of them are just unipolar. You saw that, right? Just to recap, both of these seem to react to the one on the right, but they didn't react to the one on the left. Now either the one on the left is not putting out, or the electrode that is, now either that's not putting out anything, or this thing is not really operating in the bipolar way we expect. So this thing isn't working. I'm going to pull it out. I used one of these openable zip ties and I cut the excess off because it's tight in here. I'm going to pull that out because I think it's doing more harm than good. So I went around this existing block, which is the capacitor, and that zip tie held in the other one. And I have another one of these for the potentiometer. So you can see what I've done here. The other one I just heat shrinked off so it wouldn't arc or spark to anywhere. This is a very high quality old 10-turn potentiometer, and I also heat shrinked these ends up, but there is a chance of them arcing out, but I didn't notice that. Okay, so I've got the white wire from the ion generator going to the blades of these two screwdrivers, and the diodes, as I said, are in opposite polarities, and the black wire is hanging free. And you can see a very faint glow there. I'll try the other one. You can actually see it arcing and sparking, and there's a huge bright glow versus this tiny little glow on the other one. So now I'm taking the black wire, and that's going down to the two screwdriver blades, and the red one's there, the black one's there, and the white one is free. So you see a sort of faint glow in this one now, and a very strong glow in this one. I'm just editing this video and I was worried that it might be a bit confusing what's actually going on. So I thought I would try and explain some of the terms I was using. In these images I'm drawing, I've tried to make 0 volts in the middle and positive voltages at the top and negative voltages at the bottom. So this box is a positive unipolar source. What does that mean? Well, we have earth potential, neutral, coming in. Now, in your plug, those things are two different pins, but they should be at the same voltage. If they're not, there's some kind of a problem. The other pin going in is live or line or mains, which is 230 volts in my case. Now these two go into this box. There's some kind of flyback generator inside, and what comes out are two more wires. And in this case, we have 0 volts earth potential, which is actually the same as at the input, and we have a positive high voltage, which I called X kilovolts. Now this is a positive one. We can also have a negative one, which is perhaps more common. So exactly the same thing goes in, but the wire coming out gives us a negative voltage. Now, what I wanted to get was a balanced bipolar unit. What does that mean? Well, what's coming out is actually X kilovolts at the top minus Y at the bottom, where X and Y are the same. So we have, for example, minus 10 kV on one cable and plus 10 kV on the other cable. In that way, the system is balanced. What I think we've actually got is an unbalanced bipolar. So we have some positive voltage, some negative voltage, but they're not the same thing. The whole idea between these high voltage generators is that we're going to produce an equal number of positive and negative charged air particles. And what that's going to do is they're going to free roam in the chute and cancel out the charges that are naturally created by the coffee grinding process. So these charges, for example, electrons, are going to fill the missing electrons in the coffee molecules. Now, what's actually going on is clearly not that. And somehow, if we have an imbalance in this system, an imbalance, then we're going to get an imbalance of charges, and we're not going to cancel out the static in a meaningful way. I was hoping to just find a box that would solve this, but these ones just haven't worked. I will continue trying to fix this problem, and I have a completely different solution coming, so stay tuned for that. Please put any comments, suggestions, whatever you like in the comment section down below. I would very much appreciate a like on this video, and if you want to see more content like this, where I tinker with things and try and solve problems, you could always hit subscribe. Thank you all very much for your attention, and goodbye.